Right, I'm ready.
All right. All right.
So I should be looking at any cameras or just look right at you?
Either one. You
Okay.
can look at the camera when we look, and we
That'll
ready.
work.
Are we rolling, Donna? You mean this? Oh, I see. Well, here I turned it off. How's that? No, I turned the screen off. All right. Do you have another song?
Um, well, I want to sing a not a love song.
All right. Well, we'll do that, and we'll start. And just a second while you're sitting there, and we're going to start.
Okay.
Hello, world. It's me, Dennis. Part two of my
Mhm.
wonderful conversation, a reasonably spontaneous conversation with
Mhm.
Andrea Dawson, singer, songwriter,
Mhm.
activist, all around amazing woman, and my friend, my growing friend.
Yes. Yes. Very much.
We'll continue to develop this friendship.
Yes, I would love to.
You
Very
bet.
interesting.
And an entrepreneur.
Yes, and an entrepreneur.
Let's not forget that.
No.
So, play us something from your songbook, from your song circle that you've been
Mhm.
creating and having fun with.
So this one is a song that I wrote in the song game,
Mm-hmm.
and this one is just one I wanted to play around with some of the old timey words that we use, and it's called bamboozled. I've been bamboozled by a sore loser who tried to place the blame on me. I've been flim flammed by a con man, a liar in the first degree. I'd been hoodwinked, darling, who could think that a man could be that doggone mean? But now my conscience is clear again, something that you'll never experience. Wish I knew what I didn't know. I'm gonna let karma run the show. You set me up, from the get go. It was a devious plan, you see. Played me for a buster, it took all I could muster. You set myself free. But now my conscience is clear again, something you'll never experience. I wish I knew what I didn't know. I'm gonna let karma run the show. Now my conscience is clear again, something you'll never experience. Wish I knew what I didn't know. I'm gonna let karma run the show. I've been bamboozled.
Oh, Andrea, I've always thought that it was almost unfair that women were so much more mature than men along the lines when they're growing up, so that you have to deal with us who are so much more immature.
So all along, the entire spectrum, yes.
It's just so. Anyway, thank you. Thank you for your patience with us, and while we're growing up and we're figuring out who we are.
Yes.
I want to. One of the things that Donna was talking to me about was that your food truck has gotten to be one of the top 20 in Austin, and it's growing about it. Can you just give a little plug about that, because I want to make sure that we have that on tape.
Oh, thank you. I would love to. Yes, it's Sassy's Vegetarian Soul Food, and I'm at the corner of 12th and Chacon in East Austin, and it has really gotten past what I expected it to be. Yeah. It's very popular. Hours are 2 to 11. It's kind of slow in the morning of the day because it's not in a busy area. It's across from the bar, so I have to wait until the bar's open, and that's whenever it gets busy. So, like, a lot of families now come by, and they'll buy plates for, the evening, and that's what I sort of wanted, was sort of like a dinner type of place, even though it's a food truck. So I don't do a lot of sandwiches, but I do my own chicken, which is one of my biggest sellers, and it's a seitan, fried seitan, and I season it to mimic the taste of chicken and deep fry it just like regular chicken. Then I have different sauces I put on them. I have a Caribbean jerk, a hot lemon pepper, and a orange, like the Chinese restaurant orange chicken.
Wow!
And that one goes very well. I also have greens, fried cabbage, and my own hot water cornbread, which is amazing. And
cool.
Yeah, it's really
cool. So what
have
you been learning about yourself on this journey? Because when you and I first met, you were on the cover of the Austin Chronicle. You'd come in after this amazing career that you've had singing around the world, and now you've come into this. So what are you learning about yourself during this part of the journey and this time in your life?
Well, at this time, it is just a lot of thinking on my feet, because as a musician, it's mostly rote, type of things to get out in front of the public and to entertain. But now it is like a business day is never the same. And so you're always faced with challenges all throughout the day, and you have to, meet those challenges. And so I lived, for me, I'm just a born worrier. And I always have a list, anxiety, like, list running in my head of things that I want to do but I can't do. And so it's very frustrating whenever you don't have the freedom to work on the list that runs in your head, because they continue to run.
Sure.
So having a food truck now is an opportunity for me actually, like, to work on the things that I said I was going to do, because you have to during the day. Yeah. There's also, bigger lists that I have to work on. And my therapist, again, I have to go back to her.
Thank God we have therapists.
Yes. Because that is who I am at my core, is that I am an achiever. Yeah. Almost to a fault, But it's if I don't have that constant satisfaction, I just feel sort of lost. And so to have an outlet for that I actually can see measurable proof that some things are moving ahead, is very satisfying for me. But also now that I've been doing that for several months now, I opened in November, now I can really see the value in rest. Yeah, I can really see the value in, like, resting and taking it easy, because before it was always I was guilty of resting, because I should be doing something else.
What encouraged you to get into therapy, to decide to take that leap, to say, no, I'm not going to do it by myself, I'm going to get some?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think you just have to be in an environment where that's okay. And the thing is, had a roommate. I'd been thinking about going to therapy, but my life was just so busy, and I didn't even know how to even get to that point where you can find a therapist. But my roommate that I had in the previous house that I was in, she had an appointment with her therapist, and she talked about her openly, and I was like, really? And she's like, oh yeah, my therapist helped me walk through that. So she told me how their conversation went, and I was like, is that what they do in there? I need to go see one of those. Because I just thought, if you've never been, you just think that you lay on the sofa and you just talk and spill it out, and they just write in a book and they go, thank you for your time.
Exactly.
And I was like, I do that in my head all the time. Why do I need to lay on someone else's sofa for? So she was telling me how her therapist helped her walk and talk through some of the issues that she had and how they arrived at stuff. And so that's whenever I was like, well, I think I need to find someone like that. And luckily, I found someone like that on the first try, because I know a lot of people have been and not able to find someone that you can communicate openly with.
Has your therapist then prepared you for what would success look like for Andrea Dawson? What would the kinds of opportunities that are open to you? Because I know that you have, as an entrepreneur, then you also have a political conscience and an activism and the work that you're doing to be able to then rest and recharge to get there. So talk a little about that.
Well, that is a journey. I don't have any set answers for that. I wish I did, but I don't. I mean, I think that is what you live your life for, is to find out what that is about. And for me, it is trying to find that. I've always thought, I'm living this life wrong because I don't know what it is for yet.
Yeah.
But I think that's what life is for, is to live it so you can find out what it's for. But in order to live that, you have to be open to experiences. Like, you've got to take chances, and you've got to jump in if you don't know all the answers. You can't be too careful. And in doing that, you finally find out, what your life is for. I'm hoping that, there'll be other journeys down the line. So I can't say right now what it is, because I didn't expect to be doing a food truck this time last year.
Thank you.
I had no idea.
That's what amazes me about life, is that whenever I try to think about what an amazing life would be, I always think smaller than it actually is if I just show up and do the damn footwork.
Exactly. Right. You will always curtail it to what you can achieve, what you're already achieving, just a little bit more.
Yeah.
And
I can't even see that.
Exactly. You got to take the leap. And you know where your leaps are. You know where, if I did that, oh my goodness, that's too hard, or that's too difficult, or I'm not ready for that. That's whatever that thing you're not ready for, that's a thing. Yeah. That is where your next leap is.
So do you surround yourself with a circle of friends and support and family? How do you keep the balances in your life?
Well, that is really where I get some value out of Facebook, is that I have so many people that are doing tremendous things. I have a friend, Pamela Booten, who is a financial advisor, but she's much bigger than that. She's a brilliant collector of art and collector of people. She knows so many wonderful people that I've run into. Another friend of mine, Reggie Thomas, is a fabulous artist in Austin, and she's been around the city forever. And so I just, I sort of gravitate to try and meet those type of people.
And you are, because that's who you are. One of the things that the areas that I'm very interested in is the rise of the divine feminine. That there is a feminine energy around the planet that is emerging and growing. We're seeing it all. You're so much the face of what I see when I see this happening, Andrea.
Thank you. That's quite a compliment. But I think that, if we would imagine that everywhere we see men in politics, we saw women, and it would be the reverse.
Yep.
I mean, I think there would be a huge, tremendous change, because women, their first instinct is to protect the young, or the nurturing,
Yep.
instinct. And I think that it is time for that now.
I do too. And we also know economically that if you educate a man, you educate a person, he goes off. But you educate a woman, she comes back and teaches the community
Exactly.
what she learned. That's a return on investment.
Exactly. I agree.
And that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing, both not both with your singing and your political activism. You got into politics. You got into the idea of politics. What was that journey?
Well, I think that I've always been in a political home. We weren't able to actually experience, but my mother was always very, very political. And about religion also. She was very ambivalent about religion and about Christianity. And she allowed us to be that way in a culture that did not allow that. Yeah. It was not something that she argued with her sisters and brothers about religion all the time. And she had questions. She interrupted a church service to argue with the preacher about what he was saying. So, she always wanted clarity. She always wanted truth. And that is what I want. It has to be logical, and it has to be clear. So that is how I approach politics, and how I approach, religion or any of those type of questions. That is how we've always been steeped in, is to question. Yeah. No matter what it is, to question it and to turn it over and look at both sides of it.
How wonderful! That really, that's the way I want to be able to look at it too.
Exactly. I think we should all examine what we think we know. Like, I had an epiphany one day, and I just thought, what if everything that I think I know, I don't know, and how to change that around. How to relook at things. As thoughts come in your head, just question: is that really true?
I going through the airport the other day, and we're all pulling our suitcases on wheels. Everybody's got wheels. Yet pictures in the 1950s and the 1960s, everyone is carrying their suitcases. Now, we knew that there were wheels that were invented, but we never made the connection that those two should go together, and we wouldn't have to carry them. Now, what else in my life? What else is right in front of me, but I haven't made that connection?
That you have not made a connection. Exactly. I think there's a lot of inventions and a lot of ways of thinking that have left undiscovered, because people don't even want to question what they think they already know.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted, and that's where questioning and great. Well, play us another song, but don't let this go. Play something for me.
All right, so I probably should have tuned this. I know somebody's at their house going, she could have tuned her guitar, but so I don't think I have my tuner with me, so we're just going to have to suffer through this, unless your sound tech has his tuner on him.
Well, you can go ahead and tune it. You can tune it.
I can't tune unless I have the mechanical tuner.
All right.
We have someone here that can. So this one is a song that
a musician in my ear has told me that it's not as out of tune as you think.
Really?
How about that? Our wonderful. So anyway,
good.
So please, now
okay.
that the pro has told us, let's go. Thank you,
good.
Donna.
Thank you. So this one is called 12 Inches. Well, I'm a full-size woman, got me a full-size fetish. I'm a full-size woman, I got me a full-size fetish. I'm addicted to 12 inches, and I'm not satisfied till I get it. I can't do nothing with 9 inches at all. Giving me 10 inches should be against the law. 11 inches can only make me mad and mean. I tell you, 12 inches, it's a sale for this shoe queen. For this shoe queen. Talking about shoes. Now it's my dirty little secret, my size, darling, I can't hide. It's my dirty little secret, my size, baby, I can't hide. I needed 12 inches, but I need it extra wide. 'Cause I can't do nothing with 9 inches at all. Giving me 10 inches should be against the law. 11 inches can only make me mad and mean. I tell you, 12 inches, it's a sale for this shoe queen. For this shoe queen. Now Manola and Prada and Gucci too. Fendi, Armani and Jimmy too, yeah. Now if you show me a package, you know what I want inside. If you show me your package, you know what I want inside. I'm gonna need 12 inches with little bitty bows on the side. 'Cause I can't do nothing with 9 inches at all. Giving me 10 inches should be against the law. 11 inches can only make me mad and mean. I tell you, 12 inches, it's a sale for this shoe queen. Yes, I'm a shoe queen. I'm a shoe queen. For this shoe queen.
That is wonderful. I can just see you playing that. And what church did you go to as a little girl? What did y'all attend?
We went to mostly Baptist church, some Methodist churches. We were way out in the country, so it was whatever,
This
church
is in Pennsylvania, right? In western Pennsylvania, right?
Yes, western Pennsylvania, yeah.
You had, did your mother help differentiate between religion and spirituality? Because religion, because there's a difference.
Yeah, I would say so. Because she believed in a God, but she did not believe in the tenets of Christianity that didn't make sense to her.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so she
we were given a brain.
Yes,
Why?
exactly. If you can't and she hated whenever they say, well, it's just a mystery, you're just going to have to believe. That's where faith comes in, and that would just set her off. Because why would you have a brain if you're not allowed to think? And so that is where she would draw the line. Yeah. So most of the churches that we went to were Baptist churches. There was one in McDonald, PA, which was the next town over, which was the only big Baptist church for black people in the little area I was at. And we had a fabulous preacher there. His name was Reverend Scott. And it was said, I'm not exactly sure what the group was, but he used to sing in a popular R&B group before he became a minister. So his choir was, before any choirs were doing this, he was adapting R&B songs to Christian gospel songs.
Wow.
Yeah, before anybody was doing it. He had a sister, oh my goodness. She could play organ like nobody's business. Oh my goodness, she would just play so hard. And he had a great choir up there that sang, and he would pick some of the best singers in the area, and they would just bring the house down. And that was where I got my love, for choral singing in the beginning, because I sang in a lot of choirs throughout my life. I just love the ideal of singing in a chorus, working on each other's voices and blending together and getting those harmonies together. And so I sang with the Baptist chorus, with choruses in college. I sang for like 5 years with a barbershop chorus, 4-part harmony. I was the only black woman on it. Yeah.
Which part did you sing?
I sang bass, of course.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I sang the
Oh,
deep
how
notes.
wonderful.
So, and it was a very progressive barbershop chorus. So we did Destiny's Child. We did Survivor. We did Tina Turner.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like very hip. It's called the Rich Tone Chorus out of Richardson, Texas.
God,
And,
how fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of, the years I spent there were, about stage presence and, performance and performing face and how to manage your voice and air and stuff like that. So it was quite an experience. So, I enjoyed singing in church and I still love church music. I love choral choirs and chorus. Yeah.
Now we can get your music, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, you can. Well, I do have one CD out that I'm not exactly sure if it's still marketed, but it's called Uptown Blues. And that was a piece that I did for a songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have some download things on Apple Music, I think. And
so we just put Andrea Dawson in Apple Music and be able to look that way.
Right. Or you just go to my website, andreadawson.com. Yeah.
How cool.
Mm-hmm.
So how many, when you talk about the blues, can you help me to understand as a non-musician about the blues, what that comes out of, what that is?
I think blues to me is more of emoting a story, number one, and number two, a lot of people think that it brings them down, but it's really just a place of commiserating. This is how low I've been, and have you ever been there? That's what most of the blues is for me, and it's just sort of like an acknowledgement of whenever people are suffering, and it, to me it lifts you up because somebody has been there and that they were able to survive through it and come out the other end of it. So in turn, it's more towards getting over the blues than bringing you down into the blues. It's just confirmation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when you add the word rhythm and, how does that change it?
Mm-hmm. I think that rhythm and came about whenever they were just trying to figure out classifications for music. So music just, grows anyway. As each generation come on and they add on whatever they want to. And then they started to add in more drums. And I listened to one video, and they were talking about how music changed in that manner whenever it was the big bands with all of those, drummers, all the horn players. And whenever that music started to get out of fashion, those particular instrumentalists started to play around with the other music that was still available, which was blues. And so a lot of those drummers came in, a lot of those horn players, and they sort of like changed what blues was at the time. Instead of playing this jazz orchestral type of music or free flowing jazz, now they had to get into a structure of a box where blues lived, because it's 1-4-5, and it has measures and they're always the same. But they brought all of that sensibility with them, and I think that is what expanded that into the R&B or rhythm and blues category.
So when you look at music today and you see hip hop and you see the evolutions of that, and we have Hamilton that is on saying how does that music how does that sound to you, and how do you grow as a musician and nurture that?
Well, I have to. Most of it comes at me so fast because now I'm like 60.
Yeah,
so
71.
So I know,
so
right?
Here we go.
So some of it sounds like foreign. Like if you go to another country and you hear music and it sounds foreign and not like your taste, but after you hear it for a while, you start to listen. And so rap was like that for me. Then I sort of I couldn't understand what the appeal was, but whenever I turned off um, my sensibilities for music, which is first of all, hearing, what the tone of the music is, what they're trying to say, and the lovely story, and all of
Mm-hmm.
that type of stuff. But to me, rap and hip hop is not about that. You've got to shut off that and just listen to what is saying in the moment, or it'll go by you.
It is. It is. Yeah.
It'll flash right by you. So there is a lot of great stuff that they are saying, but it's not something that you can hold on to. You can't grab it. It has to be like in your head, and you just nod and go head on, or the story's gone. And I think it's very, very clever, way of doing music. It's not, something for me. I think that at a certain particular point, I've seen older people try to do rap, and they're in 4/4 time, and it just doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. There's a flow that young people have that is just amazing.
It is, and
Mhm.
so it's an interesting wire. It's an interesting way of now. Can we absorb it? Can we
Mhm.
talk about it? Then
Mhm.
that's what I'm interested in because
Mhm.
I want to have. I would love to talk to
Mhm.
some artists about that.
Oh yeah, I would love to hear what they would have to say too about how they get into their rhythm and cadence, and if they're actually writing it down or it comes off the top of their head, because it sounds like in the moment, but a lot of it is prepared ahead of time. Some do and some don't. So it's all how they get the information out. But of course, there's also the element that the misogynistic, lyrics that I've heard from young
Exactly.
people. Oh my goodness, it breaks my heart. It really does. I mean, it's just so debilitating to females to be brought up in that particular genre and not to think anything is wrong. That
Yeah.
men are talking about you in that particular manner, and you talk about you in that particular manner. Yeah, it's very, very deadly, but I'm seeing that turnaround now.
I do too.
Mhm.
It's like when something starts
Mhm.
and it takes a while to mature and then it begins to grow
Mhm.
after its adolescent phase and it begins to get
Mhm.
into something more mature.
Mhm. Exactly. Yeah. And I'm loving to seeing where that is. It means the consciousness is raising just like it did in the 60s.
Yeah.
Whenever that music started to come up, and now I see it happening again, but in a different, rhythm and a different beat. So. Mhm.
It's interesting that we see what the music. So, what's on your playlist? What do you
Mhm.
listen? What are you listening to right
Mhm.
now?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't listen to Right now, I'm listening to a lot of songwriters just to see how they write songs because I'm so involved now in writing songs.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm actually going back and listening to my childhood songs and going through the 70s and 80s and listening to how they were able to get that message out and how much work did it take to do that. Yeah, so now I'm just looking at the mechanics of songwriting. But some of the newer songwriters that I admire are I like songwriters like India Arie. I think that she has a wonderful message in her music. It's all about love every time that she writes, or
Mm-hmm.
about the growth of human race as a whole, and I love that. And those type of artists around her, like Angie Stone, and those type of message artists, and they do it beautifully too. Mhm.
Do you see a lot of that here in Austin? Do you see a lot of the talent here? Because Austin
Mhm.
is of course known for music,
Mhm.
but do you is that
It's starting to, yeah, yeah, yeah. The only difference is that a lot of the music is underground, so they're not at the events that older people go to.
right?
I don't even know where they are half the time. So it's difficult for us to get to it, but and I think that's okay because I think that people need their consciousness awoke wherever they are, in whatever age that you are. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
at my age, there's singer songwriters on the local scene that are writing some very prophetic stuff that's opening up a lot of eyes, and I think that needs to happen all across the board.
I
Hmm.
like that idea because if we could if our souls can grow at the place wherever time meets them, because this is a transformative time in human history. I mean, people are growing.
Oh, yes. So much in every way. In every way. You can just feel it is crackling in the air, that it is a transformative time. It's also a very frustrating time, but I think it is definitely transformative, and it feels like, what were we doing all along?
I know. Are you writing songs now that you want to go back into the studio? Are you building albums, or does that interest you?
I would, after I get a wealth of songs that I can perform well enough to my standards, and to flesh out a little bit more, because I'm very new, like I said, to songwriting. There are a lot of things I want to say. I'm working on now a song that is a piece for the ballot, and I want to do a ballot for women, a woman, which is probably Acacia, getting into politics and running for office, and about the work that it takes to get out there and get your name known, and the doubts and the fears and the triumph. Yeah, I would love to do a piece for her.
Oh.
I know.
I want to help. I want to help. We'll do this for AOC, and we'll do this, and I want to help. I'll do anything that I can for that.
Good.
Absolutely.
I definitely want to do a ballad of AOC. That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
I think that we have to champion each other.
Isn't that the truth? And it is so, and it's so inspiring. I saw her story the other night, and one of the biographies of that.
That's the same one I saw. That's the
And this, but it is your story. It is my story. It's the story of us. Are we willing to stand up and say, does it have to be the way everyone says that it has to be?
Exactly. It's an interesting time. We'll see how it all fleshes out.
Yeah, and that's where we'll take it. All right. Well, can you play us another song on the way out? Play something fun for us. What do you think?
Let me see. Something fun.
Now, does political office interest you?
No, not at this particular time. It does not. I mean, I'm working on the food truck, but I would love to be behind the scenes for someone as a strategist or someone doing the grunt work.
Yeah.
So I was able to do that a little bit for Natasha in District 1 and Harper Madison. That was a lot of fun, and she's such a great candidate, and it's wonderful to see her on City Council. And so I would love to do more of that. Yeah. So I'm gonna continue to push however way I can to get as many women as possible and to be behind them. And I know so many great women.
Isn't that the truth? That's what excites me so much. I mean, it really. I see them, Andrea, in so many ways.
So many. I mean, and it's time for women to step forward. And there's, women that are in the front line and ones that are behind them and ones behind them.
Ethiopia. The president of Ethiopia mandated that half of his cabinet are women. So the Minister of Defense, a woman. Secretary of State, a woman.
Wow.
He mandated this. I think it's Colorado, half of the legislature is women now. I mean, we're seeing this happen.
Yep, in our time. It's amazing to see, and I can't wait to see what happens with it.
Play us out.
So, I don't know if I did this one last time.
I don't care.
So this one is for my mama and them. I'm going to mama and them over on Route 2. I'm going to mama and them over on Route 2. I gotta bring my book over here. I'm so sorry. You can hold that for me?
I'd love to. Are you kidding?
Get out all this part.
I will. No.
Okay.
No. I get to be Andrea Dawson's music stand.
Oh.
That is. Let me do that.
All right. I'm going to Mama and them over on Route 2. No matter when you go, they're expecting you. Give Big Mama a hug. House filled with food, warmth, and love. You feel treasured here, no doubt. Keeping family what she's all about. Over at Mama and them, over on Route 2. No matter when you go, they're expecting you. I wish I can go back to Mama and them's. It's gone from Route 2. The grass has grown over the porch, and all the paths we made too. There's a broken down home now, where a vibrant one once lived. The echoes of laughter and all the good times we miss. Now I know it's true, you can never go back to the past. You can rebuild the structure, but it's the foundation that lasts. Over at Mama and them's, over on Route 2. Over at Mama and them, over on Route 2. Here I am now on Mama and them's, although not on Route 2. I strive to make a grand home, just like the one I was taught to. Family, we storm the weather. Family, we push through it together. The perfect example of love from long ago. Over at Mama and them, over on Route 2. No matter when you go, they're expecting you.
Home is where they have to take you.
That's right. They have to take you in.
They have to take you in, and I love the fact. I love this have the feel of the amount of work that went into creating this.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's a lot of work and a lot of growth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But isn't that what does writing a song tell more about who you are?
Oh, all of mine are. Yeah. I've tried to do anything otherwise, and it just doesn't. It comes off fake, and it's difficult, and it's like, just talk about whatever you know.
Yeah.
And so that's what comes out. But of course, it's difficult to make sure it is authentic, and that it's things that you care about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to make it rhyme, for the most part, anyway. At least some of mine do. But yeah, it's very cathartic to get that out. A lot of things that just stick in your head all the time, that a lot of people write it out, for singers, that is the way to get it out of your craw, so you can do something with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all part. Well, it's all part of our process, and I love the fact that it has that has some years on it, and it's been around.
Yeah.
And that I mean, it's just That makes it feel good. That
yes,
you know.
yes. And a lot of it, some of them I haven't played for a while, so I'll forget some lyrics here and there, and yeah.
But I like it. I like this, and I think this is what when we do this again, what I would like to do is to do it where I'm your music, where I will just hold them up, and we'll just hold them up, and we'll just spin it, and we'll just play it that way, and
Okay,
then that way
let's do that.
that way we can because this music and conversation is an art form that I would like to explore with you.
Okay, let's do that.
Because Andrea, I'm glad that you're not going into politics, only because I think that you can reach more people through what you're doing, through both the music and the conversation and the things you're doing. You know, the empowerment of people.
Yes.
I think you can reach. You're going to be able to reach them this way. That much I am absolutely dead sure of.
Why, thank you. That is my wish and my hope.
Yeah, well.
I don't know if we'll use it, but see, that's
Oh yeah,
one of the top 100.
the top 100. So he had said the top 24, which was a part of the top 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were included.
So we'll keep rolling just for a minute here.
Good.
Okay.
I'm going to put this down next to
Yeah,
me
that'll
so
be
that we'll have
fine.
it for the coverage, all right?
Okay.
And I'll just bring this up.
Okay.
You ready? Okay. And so I see we have here the Austin Chronicle dining top. What is this about? What is going on?
I know. Well, I got a email, and it said you've been selected as one of the first plates, 100 defining restaurants for Austin for 2019.
Wow.
Yes, yes. So that was quite an honor to receive. So they pick 100, restaurants and food trucks and bakeries, and I'm not sure if there's bars or whatever in there, but they categorized them, and they selected mine as one of the section for food trucks, which there were 24 of those, and so I was one of the ones that were selected for the defining taste in Austin for 2019.
God, to go from an idea that you didn't even know you wanted to have to have this I mean, to see that the momentum going, and yet tomorrow morning, tomorrow at 2.
Oh my goodness, I'm gonna be up working. Yeah. Yep, putting in the time, paying the dues. Yeah, which I enjoy. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work though. Yeah, I wish I'd have done it when I was younger, but yeah.
You do it when you do it.
Exactly.
Maybe you weren't right.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Very, very true.
I mean, that's the whole thing about rebooting this show. I mean, I did it in 1979. We're rebooting it in 2019. That's 40 years later.
Yeah.
I wasn't right.
No. I don't know. Some of those videos are pretty good. I have to watch the Monkees one.
Which song is it?
The one you did, Mickey Dolenz, right?
Yeah. No, Peter Tork.
Who was it? Peter Tork. Okay,
Yep.
Peter Tork. Yeah. I just saw that come across my feed the other day, and I was like, I gotta see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Because you look totally different then.
I know. And that's the neat part about seeing myself 40 years old. Self-acceptance is such a big part of life.
Oh, yes, Lord, yes. I just, like, every day I'm saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if I can just, acceptance is the key to all of my, everything that I have in life is acceptance. It's all about acceptance.
Really. And it's nice to have confirmation like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As Donna tells me, is that today is the youngest I'm ever going to get.
That's right. Good thing, Donna. You remembered. That's in the song.
Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't that? But then that's the wonderful part about what you're doing and being a part of your life. That's
thank you.
what's fun.
I appreciate you guys like taking me on. I really appreciate that. That's something totally unexpected. When you're just walking around living your life and somebody appreciates that, that's very powerful.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Isn't that the truth? And that's what and it's like I love the idea of a overnight sensation. That's great. But I like to know, what was it like the night before the overnight? What was the hard work that led up to that? That to me is the most interesting part of the story.
Oh yeah. I love stories of triumph. Yeah. And there's a lot of work that goes into it.
Yeah. And that, anyway, that's what we're doing.
Well, I appreciate all the kudos from the station and for the show. You guys do a fabulous job here. Thank you.
It's my pleasure, and it's part of what I'm doing here. What Don and I decided to do when we started this, and then we got the wonderful Bradley to come along with our multimedia, and now Rick doing sound, and Jonathan doing editing, and all. God, it's just been an amazing process to be able to see this.
Wow.
But that's what we're doing, and we're doing here, and we want to be part of this process of taking your message and taking you to the world.
Well,
and
thank you,
I
yes.
appreciate your patience as you're helping us to learn what we want to do on this.
Well, good. Well, let us do it again.
Yeah.
I'd love to sit with you again. Yeah, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We'll see where we are in a couple of months.
Yeah. And to have would you say that I love having a reasonably spontaneous conversation?
I love having a reasonably spontaneous conversation.
Do it again and let me be quiet.
Okay. I love having a reasonably spontaneous conversation.
Do it again.
I love having a reasonably spontaneous conversation with you, Dennis. It's been fun. You've been so gracious and so smart about questions, and having me discover things that I didn't know about myself. So I appreciate that.
How about that? How about that? How about that? Huh? 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 That was
Thank you.
That's why